2 of maybe 3 today on a match day Saturday. That's right. Happy match day. San Diego FC fans and San Diego FC themselves are all back at the Snapdragon Stadium tonight to take on Minnesota United as they look to return to form and defend their home turf and their undefeated streak as well. But before I get into that, I do actually got some team news, and maybe this is something that might help y'all understand a little bit of the craziness that's happening in the MLS. You may have seen the club news that dropped. San Diego FC announces yesterday that the club has acquired $200,000 in 2027's general allocation money and a 2027 second-round super draft pick from Charlotte FC in exchange for $170,000 general allocation money for this year, aka we're loaning them $170K to get back $200K next year, along with a second-round pick, which could be helpful considering all of the youngsters that San Diego FC likes to go after. You know, with all the veteran names coming out and all the big names leaving those other leagues and possibly coming to the MLS, San Diego FC is not really looking at them. However, they look to build from the youth. So, speaking of building, we're going to have to try to build something out of nothing because we got a lot of injuries. So, let's go down the injury report, or the injury update, if you will. During the press conference on Thursday, head coach Mike Ibarras says no one is coming back from injury for this game. No, but he did add one name, and that name is Wilson Eisner, who's been dealing with a quad issue, and that's officially leaves San Diego FC with 7 players out with just injuries, 4 of them being defenders. And a very friendly reminder to you, Manu Dua is suspended for this game with a red card that he picked up against San Jose. That leaves us with 5 defenders out and 8 total players. The bench is going to be thin, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be thin, but we know that maybe we have enough to bring it home. However, winless in their last 4, San Diego FC are looking for a way to turn their luck around, and what a better place to do it than at home, as they look to defend their undefeated streak at the snap against Minnesota United, who are coming off of a confidence-building win against the LA Galaxy. San Diego came into this one in a rough stretch, winless across the last 4 of all competitions, and then, of course, we cannot forget the stinker that we served up last weekend, losing 3-0 to San Jose. Defensive issues have been the biggest concern so far. 12 goals conceded in the last 4 games, and let's be frank, discipline has been shaky. This team started hot. Started like they were going to be the exact same team, if not a better version of them, as they were last year, but now, well, they're hoping to cover their wounds and stop the bleeding because everybody's coming at them, and they're coming at them hard. However, things are a little bit more stable on the Minnesota side. They're coming off a 2-1 win against the LA Galaxy, and in their last 5 games, they've won 2, drawn once, and lost twice. However, they are coming off of 2 losses in their last 3 games, and have only picked up 4 points in their last 4 games. They have had some ups and downs, but they are starting to build momentum again, especially on the attacking side of the ball. The LA Galaxy were able to get all kinds of joy against their back line, even though they play a back 3 with the 2 wing backs. It still looks a bit difficult for them. But again, they're hoping to pounce on our negative form. So we'll see how this thing goes so far. As of right now, San Diego FC is sitting 7th in the West, and Minnesota is just a few spots below with 8 points. I believe they're 9th right now. And as it is a very tight race across the Western Conference, especially with the top 3 teams being some of the best out there in the MLS. And in the last 3 meetings, San Diego FC has won 2 of the last 3, one of those being a conference semifinal that led them to the conference final, where they eventually would lose to Vancouver, who then Vancouver would then lose to Miami in the conference and the MLS Cup. So for this one, I'm going to give a slight edge to San Diego FC, especially historically and at home. They're looking to be better. They're looking to improve on their form. They're looking to play on the front foot and change the aspect and the current narrative around the team itself. Flying through this one, let's hop into the key players to watch I've got 3 for San Diego FC. 2 of them you are really not going to be that surprised. And one of them just may pick you in their success, just may flip you in a weird way, because this third guy is a guy who we haven't seen start yet. But we'll get into him in a minute. And obviously the first guy to watch is going to be Andres Dreyer. He is the creative engine in our attack, and he needs to be on for this game. I said it in my post-game review. He is the heart and soul of this team. And when this guy is feeling down and depleted, so does the team. So they're going to feed off of his energy, and as long as he can be the player that we know he can be, he will shine, and maybe, just maybe, the team along with him. We hop to my number 2. My number 2 is Marcus Varkston, a goal threat up top when he is in the right place. He's got 4 goals on the year. 2 of them came while playing at Snapdragon, and hopefully he can score another brace against a scoreable team that is Minnesota. My third player to watch for the San Diego FC side is a guy who's yet to start a game, and I honestly think that starting him in this one could be a better idea than going with the opposite of Lewis Morgan. And I'm talking about the youngster, Brian Zomblé. I think it's a good move. You may be asking, or even saying out loud to your head, what is this guy even talking about? He won't start. And that's where I'm hoping, in a nice way, that you're wrong. Because if San Diego went back to their roots and played with true wingers on the outside, they would likely call on the youngster, as he's shown signs of brilliance at times and has already scored at snap. I say he gets the start over Morgan with Pellegrino still out, but I will leave my full starting 11 for a whole other episode. Now we move to the other side of the ball, and in reality, Minnesota doesn't have as many threats as they once did, but they still have threats nonetheless. Kelvin Yeboah, team's top scorer, got 3 goals on the game. He's consistently always looking for opportunities, similar to San Jose. Minnesota will pounce on any defensive mistakes. I say it again, they will pounce on any defensive mistakes that we make. Joaquin Pereira is a playmaker with multiple assists, and he is a vital part, or was a vital part in their win against the LA Galaxy. He's a threat through the middle, passing, being creative, and old-fashioned scoring as well. If he helps get their attack going early, it could be a long night for San Diego FC. We go with the last guy, and the guy that I'm a little bit more worried about than anything else, Anthony Marakovic. As the announcers called him, the highest goal scoring defender in the world. I've looked it up. There's a couple of guys that are close to him, but as of last year and this year, he's got 10 goals in a year and a few weeks, and a season in a few weeks, if you want to get technical. One of those goals came against us. He is very much a threat when they play on the counter and when they play in set pieces. Look out for Markovic. Minnesota's attack is direct and dangerous in transition, and if our players are out of position, as they've shown they can be and have in the past, Minnesota will work into those gaps, find space to create something, and which means Duran Ferree is going to have to be on his high horse and do a lot of shot stopping, because if they get going, and I mean this, if Minnesota gets going, we may have a problem on our hands. Let's get a little tacticianary, if we will, a little bit of tactical breakdown. San Diego FC will likely play on their basic 4-3-3, wanting to keep and maintain possession for as long as possible and maintain that attacking width. The problem, however, is simply 2 words, or 3 words, I should say. Defensive shape and discipline. Discipline is going to continue to be a thing until we can go more than 5 games without a red card and more than 2 games without numerous yellow cards. For Minnesota on the other side, they run a 3-4-3. They are very strong in counterattacks and transition, but are extremely vulnerable in defense, especially when at home. Their center back line is far from strong. Far from strong. If you break them down with passes, they're done for. Crosses, they have an opportunity to play better at. Playing into the box, working into the box is going to be key for us to score against Minnesota. Speaking of keys, how about some keys to victory? I've got 3 for San Diego FC. San Diego must keep their defensive structure. It must be maintained. San Diego needs to go back to the basics and attack this team head on. Dribble into space, find those quick, low passes, and earn shots in the box, and then take them. Number 2 is kind of ties into number 1. Take advantage of open spaces. San Diego needs to go back to the basics. Or I should say that was the same thing. If they don't tighten up, Minnesota will punish them. That was what I should say. But yes, the open spaces are massive. Working to the open spaces. And the last one, and the most brutal one, and the most hopefully effective one, is going to be feed off the crowd. San Diego FC has been away from home for the last 4 brutal games, and the fans and supporters will be alive and loud for this one. Hopefully that bleeds out and feeds into the boys, because they're going to need it. But all in all, this game comes down to momentum versus home field advantage. Minnesota recently in a better form. In reality, they've won one more game than we have, and have won one game. Or I should actually say they haven't won one more game than we have, but they have won one game in their last 3, which in reality, if you also include all the red cards, they are a better team than us. However, strong at home is San Diego this year. Strong at home, remaining undefeated so far, hoping to get back to form with that home crowd behind their back. If San Diego FC dominates in possession, they will win by a wide margin. If it turns chaotic, and it very well could, showing the last few weeks, it could absolutely lean Minnesota's way. Prediction. I favor our boys in this one, as you should each and every time. You support your club and you aim for your club to take W's. They are desperate to get back to form. They're desperate. I'm sure at this point, maybe even Mikey Varas is as well. And with the home crowd behind them, I think it's their night to put on a show at the expense of Minnesota United, adding 3 points and hopefully moving back into the top 5 of the Western Conference division. It would be an awesome thing. However, I expect goals from both sides, and I've changed this score prediction about 15, 16 times because analytics have shown that this game will go well over 2.5 goals. So, with that being said, here is my final score prediction. Minnesota United 1, San Diego FC 4. Tonight, Marcus Varkson gets a brace, Brian Zomblé scores at home again, and Dreyer, El Pelotero himself, will serve up a nice icy scoop of the ice cream as Minnesota packs it up and heads back home for next week's game. If San Diego cannot fix that defense tonight, this could be the game where Minnesota truly and really exposes them. But at home, I know you feel like I do. There's got to be a chance for San Diego FC to find a way to finish off this opposing side. That is my pregame preview. This is the thing to be looking forward to. I will catch y'all at Snapdragon with live updates from the supporter section. Thank y'all for hanging out with episode 2 of 3 for today. We will see y'all later in the match. Hopefully, coming your way tomorrow.